Life is so busy. If you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-empowerment, setting our goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode, A Moment with Mo, where I, Mo Hagan, your host, will dive deep into conversations around health and wellness and personal and professional growth. And of course, every episode will captivate you because each guest brings their lived experiences and their unique perspectives, making each episode very meaningful and uplifting. And I'm sure you will enjoy this episode as you've been enjoying all of them up to this point. My mission to inspire global change has been a lifelong pursuit, crystallizing about 10 years ago when I engaged a coach and really dug deep to reflect on my life and my career. And through that journey, I uncovered my why. I really uncovered the purpose of what motivates me and gets me out of bed every day. And when I discovered this deep, meaningful reason for living and for serving, this became my core purpose. This purpose is what drives my contributions to the world. And every day I choose to wake up and serve my why, share it with the world. And now I'm in a place in my career and life where I am motivated to help serve others by helping each person that I encounter discover their why, their deeper meaning for life, and trust the universe with the connection that they have to perhaps my story, their story, and through the collaborative conversations with others, they come to realize what their driving purpose is as well. And this is really what creates the momentum and is really rewarding for me. I love speaking to people about their why, and it helps put it out into the universe. And I trust that when you put it out there to the world, share it with others, the universe rewards you by helping you find the way. And today, my guest is a very dear friend, and my guest is a health and wellness entrepreneur and businesswoman. As mentioned, a dear friend that I just realized I've had the privilege of knowing and working with for over a quarter of a century. And I'd love for all of you to meet Julie Langhorne.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Julie.
So happy to be here today.
Thank you. And you know, it's amazing because I've been gifted the opportunity to work with you and have conversations with you on a weekly or greater basis. But I'm both excited and a bit nervous because I haven't had the opportunity to meet with you in this way before. So I'm so grateful that you had the opportunity and the time to join me.
Well, thanks again for the opportunity. And yeah, I would feel the same way because we talk so frequently, but not necessarily about these specific things. So I'm excited to dive a little deeper today.
Good. I'm very excited to share what it is that we do. And I'm very curious to learn from you, and I'm sure the viewers and listeners will be just as curious. And for those that are curious to know who's Julie Langhorne, let me introduce her to all of you. Julie has a master's degree in science, a background in fitness and nutrition. She's been working in the direct sales and consulting for 26 years, started when she was just a wee child, and has had the flexibility to work from home running her business since her daughter Emma was born 18 years ago, almost 18 years ago. And she is a wealth of knowledge on products and leads a very large team and in teaching the systems that help all build their businesses both online and offline. And I can agree to all of that because I've been part of Julie's team. And today we're going to share, we're going to go back in time and then project forward. And we're going to start with going back. And then I'm going to end with a really powerful question that I love to ask Julie and that I've never had the opportunity to ask Julie. before. So, Julie, we've worked together for over a quarter of a century. And when I think about that and I think about how we've been working together in a business model, I really believe that, and I didn't really understand how ahead of our time we were then, and just how entrepreneurial we too are. And that's kind of exciting. And I'd love you to take us back and share how you started and why you started in what we call this person to person or network marketing selling business model. Let's start there.
Sure. And this was kind of fun thinking about this because I've been working with a particular company now for 17 years. But as you mentioned, I've been in this industry for 26 years. So it was fun really going back to the very beginning of how it all started. So I was doing my master's degree, and as some people may may know, when you're doing that, you have courses to take and you have research to do. Mine was in science, so I actually had physical experiments to do, write-ups to do, etc. But you don't make a lot of money doing that, right? So you get paid by the company that you're doing research for, but it's not enough to survive. And so I was taking on TA-ships. So I was a teacher assistant in multiple courses, and I still wanted something else, but I really didn't have the time to go out and have some sort of a part-time job while I was taking on all of these other things, including the company that was paying me was the Niagara Parks Commission. And so they kind of took advantage of the fact that they had me. And even though I was doing research for them, I also became a teacher at the Niagara Park School of Horticulture while I was doing my master's degree. So I really did not have extra time to go and find like a traditional additional job. And so my parents introduced me to this. So my parents had been in education for 30 plus years. They were getting towards the years of retirement. And if you knew my parents, they were not people that were going to just they like to travel the whole world, but they didn't like to just travel and sit. They like to meet people. They like to talk to people. They knew that their working lives were not over. And so they were the ones that did the research and were looking for something in a career where they could be person to person and be helping people. That was just in their nature. So that's really the very beginning that a lot of people don't even know how I came to this industry. And it was all about being introduced to products that were scientifically backed, that worked for us, and that we could then introduce to other people. And then we could teach people that were interested in how to duplicate what we just did, right? Use a product or products, enjoy them, get results, talk to other people. It just seemed like a brilliant business model to me. So when I was getting ready to have my daughter, I knew that this is the direction I was going to go. I knew that I didn't want to continue. At that time, I was a personal trainer. I loved it. I loved helping people every day, but I didn't love the commute. I didn't love the sort of inefficient time in between clients. And I wanted something where I could truly be home and raise my daughter and have something that worked around my family's schedule. And so it just made a lot of sense to me. And that's sort of, it's just grown from there.
Wow. And I've been blessed to be part of that journey. And I was introduced to this business and our former business by your parents. And that's when I met you. And, I loved what you shared about the journey because it's a perfect example of sharing the story driven by your why, your core purpose, and your parents both being educators and that desire to retire but not sit. And that is true of Alex and Joan. And of course, your desire to have a family and be home with them. So you didn't have to give it up. You just pivoted and found a new type of economy that you could participate in and help grow and teach others to enjoy the same opportunity. So thank you for that. That was brilliant. I'd love you to share for those who may not know or have familiarized themselves with network marketing or the person selling business model. Can you share some key principles with us?
Absolutely. This is something that I'm really passionate about. And I really, this highlights for me that I should be talking about this part of it more, because there are a lot of misconceptions about this type of business. So I covered some of it already in my introduction. And that's really just that this is something that you can do really from anywhere in the world. It's very flexible. These days, right? If you have one of these, you can really do the business anywhere, particularly if you're choosing to do your business on social media, which we're going to talk a little bit about later, I think. So you have to do your research. So when I make some statements here, they might be more reflecting the company that I'm with. But just to give you an example, there's typically not much of an investment with our company. There's no investment. There's no monthly fees for doing the business, for buying the products. You're not tied to having to do monthly orders, things like that. It's very, very flexible. And so much so that it actually requires people, if you want to do the business, it requires people to have that internal drive and that internal motivation. Because if you can imagine, like me, if I'm at home all day and I'm self-employed, I don't have a boss, I don't have anybody telling me I have certain hours I need to work. There is that internal drive and that internal motivation. But what I love about that is that there's really no cap. There's no cap on income, etc. It really is, the sky is the limit as long as you are willing to work towards that. And I have to be careful because I don't want to make it sound like it's really, really easy. It actually really does require work. It requires effort, but typically the business model is simple. It's, as I stated before, you are using a product or a service, because there are service-based business like this as well, that you enjoy, so that you authentically can share it with other people. And how you choose to share it is totally up to you. I've been through the gamut, because when I first started, we really didn't have social media. I mean, that just shows you how old I am, right?
I remember.
We didn't have social media. What do you mean? Like, so many people would be like, what do you mean you didn't have social media? But, I was working with clients. They had concerns. I felt that I could help them address them outside of just, the physically active, the exercises I was helping them with. And I absolutely loved it. We did it that way. We did trade shows. Oh, we did so many trade shows.
Oh, yes.
Remember those, right?
Oh, yeah.
Home parties, right? Face to face, like coffees, like meet with somebody at Starbucks. I've done demos of devices, sitting in the Starbucks, having a coffee with somebody. Literally have done it every way. But my absolute favorite, and something that has become a huge passion for me, and I've invested a lot of time and money to actually learn and become an expert in, which is social media. And in particular, I'm more focused on Facebook still. And again, I know people think, well, like that's dinosaur ages. There's so many other ways to do it. And there are. But to this day, Facebook is still the largest social media platform, and it has the largest number of daily active users and the largest monthly active users out of any platform that's out there. So that's what I love about this. Like, you can do it however you want, and you can put as much time and effort in it as you want. You can choose what we would call like an affiliate model, where you're just sharing product and sending links to people. Or you can delve a little bit deeper and go right into this whole idea of leveraged business model, which a lot of people have never experienced in their life. And that's where we're bringing on people that also want to do this as a business. We coach and train them to do what we're doing, and then we get rewarded financially for doing so.
Brilliant. I love how you distinguish the affiliate model, simply sharing products authentically. People, I mean, it happened to me this morning in the gym. Someone said, "Oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Where'd you get it?" And of course, I tell them where I go shop for my outfit. Well, that store doesn't send me a commission to say thank you, Mo. Doesn't even send me a thank you. It just, I'm helping them and they get what they're looking for and they're appreciative, but that's it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you shared how you leverage that with a business model where you teach others to do what you do and you're rewarded. It's on top of that affiliate model of simply sharing the products. It's all of the above.
Right.
And that's been so much fun. And if anyone, I didn't know I had an entrepreneurial spirit within me, although my mother used to say, "What are you making there? And what are you selling here?" But it's been a great way to serve my why in a different way. And what's unique about this is, Julie, you chose to do this as your full-time career. Such a beautiful evolution from where you started in, your research and science. And I learned more about you today too. I didn't know where your first job was. That's super cool. But I do it as a side hustle. So that's the beauty, is you can do it as a side hustle. And Julie would say, "Yes, Mo does it part-time." And I do because I can. And that's the way that I get to participate. But then at any time I choose, I can add more time there. And that's the most beautiful part of it, is the more you dedicate yourself. And I love what you said about it is work. It's just work you choose to do because you love the business model and how you get to help people. And then it's the discipline of how much time, you carve out to, really live and serve your purpose. So, and thank you. That's so well said. And Julie, what I love about what we're doing, we're both in health and wellness. We've been there for our careers, is that according to all the trends, these are the trends in direct sales, trends in health, trends in fitness, trends wherever you see around the world. The health and wellness is the one of the most popular and profitable product categories in direct sales. And why? Because the products that are included in this category of health and wellness include supplements, vitamins, weight management products, skin care products, personal care items, and of course, fitness equipment. So with both yours and my careers and social networks being primarily in health and wellness, how would you approach the opportunity with those who do ask you or would ask you about a side hustle or how they can leverage this gig economy? How would you guide them?
Okay, well, that's a great question, because you're right. And even more so you, because I have been out of the fitness world now for longer than I was actually in it at this point. So there's such a natural fit there. And when I was working really closely with other people in that industry, other fitness trainers, nutrition consultants, that sort of thing, I would just say to them that there is such a natural fit. I mean, there are lots of other things that they could also do as their side hustle, right? But in most cases, it's not leveraged. So you're still trading time for money, right? Let's give an example. So somebody who is working as a personal trainer, and they've got, like half days at the gym and then half days where they could be doing something else. And they decide that they're going to go drive Uber, right?
Mm.
Nothing wrong with doing that, but literally that's all you can do while you're doing it. And you're only getting paid for the drives that you do, which is taking up time. And so the beautiful thing for people that are busy is that if you can invest a little bit of time in a business like this, and you go that one step further, right? Side hustle, to me, again, you can do the side hustle with our business, and that's hustling, like selling products, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you take it to the next step and you find other people that are looking for the same things that you were looking for, and you can bring them into the fold and they start doing it as well, it's everybody doing their little part. And therefore, everybody's getting rewarded. And I'll tell you, one of the misconceptions of this industry is that there's somebody sitting at the top. That's why they call it a pyramid scheme, right? There's somebody at
Yep.
at the top, right? They're making all the money. And it's so not true
Mm-mm.
because, again, you are in charge with how you run your business, how many hours you put in. You may have more influence over your friends. You may have more influence over people on social media because you've been on social media talking about whatever for years. So you could bring somebody on like that, you're doing your part-time work and you're still doing your training or whatever it is you're doing, and somebody else comes on and they just blow up and they're doing great. You can easily have people that come onto your team that will make more money than you. There's
Mhm.
not one person at the top. The compensation plans of, let me just say, the responsible companies. So obviously I'm working with one for 17 years now. I believe they're a very responsible organization. We choose to be a part of the Direct Sellers Association. It's highly regulated. When you're with a company like that, their compensation plans actually encourage you to work not just with the people that you've brought on, but down the line, further and further and further. And they do that, which I love because it really instills this teamwork instead of competition. And you get paid, and there are bonuses and rewards that are all associated with that. So it's not the I'm at the top, I'm going to make the most, and this sort of competitive atmosphere that can tend to be there in some corporate situations, right? It
True.
really is this collaborative effect, and I think it's brilliant. So people in the fitness world, okay, you don't need to be in fitness and wellness to do what I'm doing at all. I mean, there's lots of people on my team that don't come from that world, but if you are, it is the perfect fit, right? You already have clientele that typically have the disposable income to afford to have a trainer or be going to a gym, that sort of thing. And they are looking for solutions. And the studies show that people want to buy from people they like, know, and trust. And that's what I always found with my clients. They would say, well, I'm taking this, or I'm using this supplement right now, but I trust you, so I want to do what you're going to recommend or what you're taking. And so yeah, I just think it's about finding something that you believe in, that you trust, and that you can speak about authentically, and people will follow that.
So brilliantly said and so true. People who like, know, and trust you will follow what you do. And, that's what makes this really quite authentic and sharing. And I liked how you said that you do not need to be part of the health and wellness industry, but if you are, it is a perfect match for those that are perhaps seeking not, more work, because it's the more opportunity is really what it's about. And to be able to serve their community to an even better level than they already are. Um, it's so rewarding. You also shared the model, and thank you for that, Julie, because it isn't just about you, it's about the team that you are part of. And that's one of the reasons I choose to be part of this team in this business with this company. I love the products, I love sharing them, but I love the people that I get to not just work with, but learn from. And I was also fortunate because I was introduced by your parents, and they knew the system beautifully. And I've been blessed since almost day one to have a team. And that's been really special too. It's just such a win-win. Um, I've been waiting to ask you this question. And again, I said at the beginning, we've worked together for a long time. We've known each other a longer time than that. Um, and I know your why. I know what really moves you and gets you out of bed every day. I want to ask you, Julie, what do you envision for the future in your business and in life? And just like me, I'm sure our audience would love to hear what you imagine for yourself, especially with the business that you run, with the model that you have embraced, and with your purpose in life.
Well, thank you for asking. It's really fairly simple. And I think you would find this endearing knowing my parents. And I will say my stepmother now unfortunately has Alzheimer's, and my father, who we've been referring throughout, has passed away. Very sudden, unexpected passing. He was very healthy right up until the day he died. But I feel like it kind of aligns with what they were doing and the values that they had. And I hadn't really thought about that until you asked me the question. So it's interesting. So my husband and I, one of the things we connected on very early when we met was what our future, what our dreams were going to be like. And it's interesting. I think I learned a lot of that from this industry, because we've always talked about um, our goals, our dreams, vision boards, positive mindset, that sort of thing. So I have always wanted to be by the water, and I'm sort of close now because I'm in the beaches in Toronto. So I'm somewhat close, but I want to be on the water, like when I open my doors in the morning to the whatever you want to call it, the deck or
Yeah.
the lanai.
Ooh.
Look out and you are looking at the water. So
Oh,
we want to be somewhere up north, northern Ontario, right on the water, and a beautiful home. It's on my vision board, right? It has a beautiful workout room where you can be doing your workout with windows that are like floor to ceiling looking at the lake. That's really where I see myself. And fortunately, I met a partner in life that also wants that type of thing. I also love to travel, and just due to some, crazy circumstances in my life, which you are well aware of, things kind of got halted at a period of my life. When a lot of people were just starting their families. And so I had a bit of a setback there. And I haven't done as much traveling as I would like to. So I really envision a lot of travel. I've been very fortunate. I mean, my husband and I do travel, but I mean, there's places that I want to go that are like the bucket list places. And what I will say is, one of the fun things with the company that I work with, that we work with, is that I've actually gone on some of those trips now with that company. So they've sent us to South Africa as one of their reward trips. So that has been incorporated, but I want to do even more. And we will be empty nesters in about a year.
woo.
And so at that point, I envision more travel. And this all combines with this business, which is really interesting. Is I don't see, like, my dad died when he was 81, and he was still taking calls with me when my dad had a biochemistry background. So if I had somebody with a complicated case and I needed some advice, I'd get my dad on the call, and he loved it. And that's what I see for myself. I don't see myself officially, like, ever really retiring. My uplines, your uplines, right? Our mentors in this business who have made millions are still doing this business. And the way Paige always says is that she's paying it forward, right? She's made the money. She has the lifestyle. She travels all over the world. She does what she wants to do, but she just has such a passion for sharing the products and the business with other people. And that's what I truly envision for myself, because you literally can do this from anywhere in the world that you want. And again, you choose how much time you want to put into it and not. And so for me, that's really what I envision for the future, is travel, living up north on a lake. I'm crossing my fingers, since we were only able to have one child, that we have grandchildren, and she's in the house right now. So you might hear some feedback on that, but I'm really hoping that we have grandchildren and continue to have animals. I'm always surrounded by animals as well.
Oh, wow. I got chills. Like, oh, woo, I see it for you. I know that you are very much into personal development. I feel like I'm going to get emotional. Beautiful, vision for your future. And it's so great for each of you that are listening or watching, just to create that for yourself, because it drives you deeply emotionally to do what sometimes is hard, and keeps you focused and moving in the direct the trajectory of your future. And I'm sure that's partly what keeps you going, Julie, is knowing what your shared vision is with your husband and your family. And that keeps you motivated, not only to keep doing what you're doing and building your team, but it also, you get to do it by living it. Like you're living your future. You're traveling, you're helping serve others with their health and wellness and building businesses. And you get to know and work with great people. You get to see the water close when you go on your walks, envisioning your future down the road. So it's really quite incredible that you are so on the way. You know, I said at the beginning of the show, when you know why, the way appears, you are on the way. And that is, I'm so happy for you. I'm going to ask you this question because I'm sure people are curious to know what has really helped you zero in on your vision. What inspired you to have a vision board every year? I know you do a lot of personal development. Can you share with us what you're doing right now for personal development, or what your favorite personal development, professional development book is? Your yeah, I'd love you to share a little of that before we close the show today.
Yeah, honestly, listen, I was doing personal development because of this industry. I was doing personal development before it was a thing, right? Now people are more like, oh yeah, I do that, or I'm reading this book. But back in the day, it was like there was a certain segment of people that sometimes even people thought were a little bit weird, right? Because we were doing this stuff and listening to these tapes at the time.
Yep.
They were tapes, then they were CDs, right? Now they're podcasts and digital downloads and stuff like that. I would have a hard time choosing a favorite book, and I am a part of a book club that does personal development books. So we just finished reading one literally, and we just did book club this morning. We just finished reading a book called Go Giver, which was a really interesting look at giving more than getting. And so that was a great one. And even like quotes, like my favorite quote, I mean, it might be cliche, I'm sure people have had it, but the one that I come back to, because I'm very passionate, I will have a favorite quote of the day. As soon as I see something that I love that somebody has said, I'm like, I love that, it's going up on my social media, right? I love to be that positive person that shares all those fun things.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, at being authentic that I am, I also share the not so great things on my social media. And I do think that that is one of my secrets to success there. But this is one of the ones that I'm sure you've heard many times, but it is the watch your thoughts for they become words. Watch your words for they become your actions. Watch your actions for they become your habits. Watch your habits for they become your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny.
Wow. I've heard that quote, but not that way that you finished it. It becomes your destiny. I was just sharing that quote in a very chopped up. I couldn't remember it all. Literally, I'm not fibbing. I was trying to share that quote as being something that I was always so impactful when I heard it just this week. And I'm like, it went something like that. And now you just shared it today. That's kind of serendipity-ish.
Yeah. And I pulled it up because, again, like you, because it's so long, I'm always worried I'm going to mess up the order or whatever. So I was actually reading it because I just wanted to make sure I was perfect today.
Oh, thank you. I found a great quote to close. But before I do close the show today, Julie, can you please share with us how best people can reach out to you and work with you? And something else I learned from you just this week was how you help people remember your name. And so share with us your contact information on social, and or how people can reach out to learn more about the business that you're in, the work that you're doing, and how perhaps people can join us.
Sure. Yeah. So my father's background was like a combination of Polish, Hungarian, and they don't use E's on the end of their names the way that we do in English. And so my name is Julie with no E. It's spelled Juli. And that's not something fun that I made up with. That's on my birth certificate, how I was born. And my last name, now my married name, is Langhorne. And that's still not a very common last name. And people always forget to put the E on Langhorne. So I remind people when I say Julie Langhorne, I'm like, take the E from Julie and add it to the end of Langhorne. So to reach out to me, really all of my social media, I made it really simple. It's all Julie Langhorne. I am most active on Facebook, somewhat on Instagram. I do stories every day. I'm starting to do some more reels. I got to get in there, but it's really Julie Langhorne. And my email, simple, it's Julie with no E at julielanghorne.com. And I wanted to say one more thing about if people are interested in getting connected with me, with us, and what we're doing. Really excited right now. First of all, we talked about travel. We have a trip to Paris on the line right now that we can earn by the end of December, and the trip is in the spring. So remember how I said I have been to South Africa, well, also Mexico, Hawaii, et cetera, et cetera. You and I were on a trip to Mexico together. So there's a trip to Paris coming. I just found out, and this is totally, we haven't even talked about this, but we just found out this morning that as much as we love our nutrition and wellness, we were just voted once again for 7 years running now, the world's #1 at-home spa beauty device system brand. So that is huge. And that talks to our innovation, the kind of innovation that we are continuing to do. And speaking of that, that leads me to the last big thing that we didn't talk about today because we just don't have the time, is that we are opening up India.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Yes, I'm like, I can't end without saying that because we've opened other markets before. We're in like 50 markets around the world, but India is huge. And we've been waiting for India. And we've been told that in the year 2025, we will be opening India. So we are working really hard right now to make connections and start building with people here and in the countries where we are already doing business with people that are connected and have connections back to India. We need to build it here first to be ready for when we open there next year. So I didn't want to forget to say that.
Oh, no, that's like a couple mic drop moments right there. And I love the quote, success leaves clues. And Julie just gave us a few clues. So thank you for that. That is just an epic way to bring our show to a close. Before I do, I want to encourage everyone to check out my website, mohagan.com, where I share my favorite products in the product line within our company. And I share why those are my favorite to support everyone wherever you are at in your personal health, wellness, and business. And I'd like to close with one of my newest favorite quotes. And like Julie, I find a quote and then I want to share it. And it's so perfect for our episode. And it goes like this. It's by Albert Einstein. I have no special talent. I am just simply passionately curious. I have no super or special talent. I am only passionately curious. On that note, I want to thank you, Julie, very much for bringing so much incredible information and really just nourishing my curiosity today. And I hope yours too. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And today's episode, I hope it not only inspired you, but really helped to shake up your curiosity. And if it has, we welcome a conversation with you. So do not be shy. Reach out. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now, everyone.